Thank you. Now, nearly 30 years ago, in these studios, I interviewed a young comedian from Glasgow. It was his first appearance on network television. We thought then he was special. We didn't just realise how special he was. We didn't know his journey would take him from the Clydeside shipyards to Beverly Hills, that the former welder, folk singer and paratrooper would become the actor, writer, international star and Britain's best-loved comedian. Well, tonight, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts and the BBC join forces in tribute to a true original. Here's a reminder why the world will be a much more drab and dull place without the presence of Billy Connolly.
There's no reason at all why...
Billy is a great storyteller. The things that he talks about on stage that happen to him personally could happen to him. And that's the mark of a really great story.
The thing about Billy, he is everything you hope he's going to be when you meet him.
Wonderful, outrageous characters, and you know, in Mrs. Brown, it was just so powerful.
All I ever thought about was you!
I think he should have won an Academy Award.
I would cast Billy in a role absolutely, hands down, tomorrow, comic or otherwise.
He should have won an award, but I did.
What can make, 5,000 people in a concert hall feel that they're having a one-to-one with Billy? But that's what it's like. And that comes from a basic honesty, I think. Physical spontaneity, I think, is sort of matches his vocal wit.
Oh, my God!
Well, my son thinks he's hilarious, and he's 9, and my mother thinks he's hilarious, and she's 85, and that's an extraordinary, clever thing to do.
Have you ever drank zombies? It's a kind of muddy coloured. I would advise you to do it. It's an extraordinary concept. You get drunk from the bottom up.
I've not mentioned the fact that he is the funniest man in the world yet, have I?
You're being very, terrific, jet-setty and urbane. Until you need to go to the toilet. Your legs are pissed. Excuse me, I'll just go to the toilet.
Pain. He actually makes you ache. It's like, oh, please, just stop for a bit. Just give me a breather. Just please let me get my breath back.
Did your parents ask you to have clean underwear in case you were in an accident?
It's that constant sort of laugh, you bastards, and keep bloody laughing,
Well, he's unique, isn't he? There's nobody like him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Connolly.
How lovely it is.
I love the suit.
Oh, yeah? It's a nice little number,
Isn't it? Yes, a second-hand leather jacket on when you first came here, I remember.
That's right.
Do you remember that, 27 years ago, all that time?
Is that how long it is? Aye, I was very nervous. It was, I had to hold off. There was another talk show guy, he's dead now, another Yorkshireman.
Russell Harty?
Russell Harty.
That's right.
Was kind of pursuing me to do it, but I wanted the Parkinson thing. And then when I got it, I thought, my God, what have I done? It's a bit like tonight. I thought I'd turned this gig down until Pamela warned me it was still on.
I think we said something like cautious in those days, 27. We were thinking he might have a bright future, we said.
Yes.
And here you are, 27 years later. Well, look, I tell you what, go sit down there.
It's
enjoy
embarrassing.
No, it's not embarrassing. You're going to enjoy every single minute of it. Billy Connolly. As I said, these studios played a big part in Billy Connolly's life, not only... Was it love at first sight, or was it an example that love really is blind? Let's find out. Please welcome Pamela Stephenson. So, love at first sight?
Actually, well, I thought he was a intense beastie who had no business being outside a zoo. And he didn't like me.
Oh, really?
No, I can't imagine why. He thought I was very pushy and...
Oh, who would have thought that in those days? And why do you think he was a beastie?
Well, he had terrible habits. He ate fish with his bare hands and it was so exciting.
So how do you you attracted the animal anyway, was that the thing? Well, look, you've got, and I know you've got something to say to him and to all of us, so there you are. Hammer Stevenson, away you go.
Well, when my husband first heard of the plan for tonight, he said, when people pay you a tribute, you feel duty-bound to be dead. Followed by, what night is that? I hope it doesn't clash with a Celtic game. You may think he sounds ungrateful, but that's really not it. In common with people who as children were led to believe that they were worthless, Billy has never really felt deserving of any kind of praise or appreciation. I'm sure he's questioning this whole evening right now. I'm just a welder who got away with it, he's probably thinking, having never even begun to grasp the breadth of what he does, what it takes to be the extraordinary performer he is. I think he has massive improvisational talent, his profundity of human perception, but he's more comfortable with belittling what he does and endlessly moans about wanting to be Kenneth Branagh. At the same time, he has an endearing, careless naivety about show business. I was recently astonished to see him inform millions of Americans that his latest movie, White Oleander, quote, really came to life after Michelle Pfeiffer shot me dead. On the set of Last Samurai, the movie he's currently working on, Billy fell asleep in a rickshaw, inspiring Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg to sneak up and wake him with a bang. In Hollywood, it's most unusual to find someone who prefers snoozing to schmoozing. Billy, my husband, the mayor of Toy Town, is in some ways a knight in patchy armor. A contemporary Quixote, hilarious without an audience. Never trust a man, he says, who, when left alone in a room with a tea cozy, doesn't try it on. It's now our family motto, and I have actually caught him peering at his domed reflection in the kitchen window. When I wrote about Billy's life and how mistreated he was when he was growing up, he was concerned that people might scorn him, reject him, or even worse, feel sorry for him. It's been profoundly comforting to him that it turned out to be quite the reverse. In recognition of the significant achievement of surviving his childhood, there's been an overwhelming outpouring of admiration, acceptance, and understanding from many of you who are here today, and many who are watching this, and that's made him a happier man, and we're both grateful to you for that. But that still hasn't made him comfortable with praise. And tonight, I imagine there'll be abundance of that. Illuminating journeys into his impressive and colourful past, present and future. Respect from peers, accolades from actors, fondness from friends, hat doffing from heroes. Billy, it's going to be tough. But you're just going to have to put up with it.
He does use his own life, and and the other thing is that he's often as not the fall guy of the joke.
There's some great jokes, but mainly it's observation about life.
Nothing good comes from Switzerland. Cuckoo clocks and fucking Toblerones.
Connolly hoots. He's in your face with his humour.
It's impossible to eat a fucking Toblerone without hurting yourself. Look at the sick mind. Thought that one up. An aggressive sweetie. A bar of chocolate that hurts you.
He sees things that you want to see, and if you don't, he makes you see it. And he does it with this bravado that embraces all the vices that he loves in his life.
Fantastically perceptive of what people are really like. I mean, really like, because, you know, they say comedy lies in the distance between who we are and who we like to think we are. Connolly's right down there with exactly what we're like.
Comedians are not like the rest of us, thank God. They see things differently. They challenge conventional perceptions of language and behaviour. Someone once said, good taste and humour are a contradiction in terms, and anyone watching Billy Connolly in action will see the truth in that statement. But what do those most demanding of critics, his fellow comics, make of Billy Connolly? Well, a fan and a friend of Billy's for a long time now. Please welcome Jimmy Tarbuck.
William.
You've seen them all in action. I mean, from Max Miller, who you saw on stage,
yes,
to working with Tommy Bob.
Absolutely.
Where do you put him?
He's the best observation comic we've ever had.
Really?
His observations are just marvellous. And he's got the balls of a lion where he goes. I mean, he goes into things, sometimes with no ideas. I don't know where he's going. And neither does he, till he gets started. Then he just has you on the floor. Very brave lad. Went to America, and it's not fashionable for British comics to go to America.
It's tough, that's why.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he went there to open for Elton John. And you imagine 50,000. And he comes on, hello, William, get off and get out. And he tried, and he's won. And quite deservedly he's won. He's tremendous.
I suppose that you, as one of the traditional front of cloth comics, would be, I suppose, when he came on the scene, you might have joined the chorus that said, you know, oh, these alternative comics. Did you do that?
Oh, God, no, he's not alternative at all. He's got one foot in the tradition there. I mean, his hero's Chick Murray, one of the all-time great Scottish comics. Hello. I was walking down the street, one foot behind the other. You know the way you do. I mean, that's him. I mean, he did all that. He's a traditional stand-up comic who goes into places that other people wouldn't dare to go.
What about the energy, too? That's the thing I always notice about Billy when I'm on stage, that extraordinary energy that comes off him.
I don't know how he stays on there so long. You know, may I get on? That's enough. Let's get off. I don't want to paint him out to be a saint. And I'm certainly not doing that.
No.
He is, Pamela said, the sloppiest eater it has ever been my misfortune to have lunch with. Is that right? Tell me that again. What happened then? Oh, and there's food everywhere. Yes.
And does he take a joke as well as make them?
We went to a charity night one night. I mean, apart from his comedic qualities, and he has the best one of all that is God-given. He's got warmth. They like him when he comes on, which is very important. And a lot of comics, Michael, don't have that. They come on and you're at ease. You're with him, and you're happy to be with him. But he's the most marvellous company. We went to this charity night, and they went to, Mr. Tarbuck, will you do one of the auctions? I said, yeah, what is it? They said, it's an English sign football. I said, sure, I'll do that. And we'd all had a few. It was when he was on the toot. I mean, and by God, he had a cap and gown for boozing at one time. And so I've got the ball. I said, hey, William, give us a lift here with this ball. Hey, no problem. I said, well, here we've got a ball signed by the England team. May I have an opening bid? He went, £100. I said, sold.
OK, well, we're going to now show selected clips of some of the funny stuff that Billy does. That's the observation. You mentioned observational comic, the stuff of his childhood. It's a very rich area, isn't it?
Wonderful. And as I said, I don't think anybody, I've never seen anybody do it better.
All right, Jimmy Tarbuck, thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
I was born on the floor. She was on the bed and terrible. I was 12.5 pounds. A fucking monster. I had a school blazer and cap and a bag. I was 5.5 years of age. But she would come off the bed and squatted on the floor, and apparently I come flying out of there like a missile and thumped my head on the floor. Which explains every fucking thing. My eyes would have been normal except when I was young. My Auntie Agnes knitted me a balaclava. She's the one who knitted my gloves. The joined up gloves, you know. And I was in bed, so she made them to fit my jacket. And it fitted perfectly, but not with me in it. Soon I get up in the morning, where are them? Your Auntie Agnes made them. But they're too wee, look. She made them for you, you ungrateful wretch. You're away to school like this, you know. Billy, where's Charlie? Oh, he's over there. My whole thing's shot up to my lungs. Had to get it out with a chimney sweep's brush. My parents used to take me to Lewis's department store on Argyle Street in Glasgow. They were kind of skinflints, you know. They'd take me to the pet department, tell me it was a zoo. It's a big ginger cat, says a baby tiger.
where's the elephants? They're away for the lunch now. Hurry up, come on. And I've got a certificate from school. I get nothing. I get no qualifications. But I've got a letter from the headmaster saying, Billy Connolly was always punctual. So, I've got A-level punctuality.
In the 1960s, Billy looked like a hippie but sounded like a welder. What he really wanted to be was a rock and roller. When such an interest in was his ambition, and he tried everything to achieve it. He grew a beard and learned to play the banjo. He made his mark on the folk scene, but soon the bits between the songs became the act. Here to tell us about those early days is a man who was himself very interesting as well as swept by the wind. Please welcome Bob Geldof.
Pamela just said that Billy's very uncomfortable with praise, so he's going to be very comfortable during my part of the evening. Because, frankly, as a musician, he's awful. I mean, he really is awful. He's dreadful. He is so shite that if he was living on planet shite, they'd take away his citizenship or something. You have to see this first clip. This is actually and literally where Billy became windswept. Clearly at this point he was going nowhere with these crap gigs on paddle steamers in Scotland. Did you write that yourself?
Yes! I've always been very creative, you know.
But he clearly thought that, you know, novelty caps weren't the way to go and magic ways to spend the day in the pissing rain was not the way to go. So he donned some, you know, early 70s skinny jumpers and tight check trousers, I think they are, and got into social realism, you know, the old finger in the ear, Ewan McCall looking towards the Hebrides, except he realised that the audience had two fingers in their ears. And it's quite clear because of this next clip, he's staring down the barrel of the camera, because this is serious social realist art, this stuff. And he's singing a song called Old Man, Young Man, which very well may be some ancient traditional Scottish load of bollocks, I don't know. But one of the words in almost classical McGonagallese is, you're a young wife, you keep your front room so dainty you could eat off the floor. And he stares at you meaningfully. And then there's a point where there's a Scottish girl upstairs, but I'd made a note of the words, and I thought they said, I remember playing in a back hole in a fell in Skimpnamee. And I thought, well, he was playing in a mountain, in a hall in a mountain in some place called Skimpnamee. And it turns out that even worse, I remember playing in a back court and I skinned my knee. And I fell and skinned my knee, which is worse. And he's there staring, you know, the brutality of life. And he's there sort of wistfully grinning. You know, from what Pamela says, he was getting the crap beaten out of it at home, and it's because of this rubbish. His family were trying, this is not your career, Bill. Get on with life, grow up some. So here's Billy as a very serious and still windswept, as we saw in the early part. He's trying to grope for interesting here, Michael. Doesn't make it. It's utterly hilarious.
OK, here's the first one. It's called Old Man, Young Man. It was written by Stuart Harrison, and it's going to be sung by Billy Connolly and accompanied by Tom Harvey and slide guitar.
You're an old man standing here today, but we'll have you down to rubble by Monday. You're an old wife, and you're frightened to go out of the door. You've a front room that's so dainty you could eat off the floor. I remember playing in a bag coat and I fell and skinned my knee. You're a wino and your body's falling up.
Oh, shit.
He could play a bit of banjo, but frankly, who can't? So I think at this point, Billy realising that he was absolutely going nowhere, the fact that Scotland was falling about hysterically at his every utterance, he gathered up all his life experiences up to that point. Poverty sucks. I'm a welder, nobody claps welders. I'm a shite musician, but they laugh. I'll weld the two of them together, laughing and clapping, and finally he became not only windswept, but interesting.
I used to be a folk singer. Just chat amongst yourself, I won't be long. I had a voice like a goose farting in the fog. I used to be a bluegrass banjo player. I could do things. I know things that you don't. I could lead you. I could lead you in a sing-song. Oh, old MacDonald was dyslexic. E-O-I-O-E. And that was no problem to me. It's one of those lines you never hear. Huh? She's shagging the banjo player. So, yeah. The one you never hear is that's the banjo player's Porsche, you know.
He caused me and my wife to have a big fight, and then both of them bit me. And that's why I am gonna get a D-I-V-O-R-C-E. In the brownies, everybody is your friend. In the brownies, they're all waiting round the bend. In the brownies, sticking with you to the end. In the brownies, sing!
Eric Idle, his great line was, banjo, the musical choice of the antisocial.
In 1975, a Glasgow taxi driver asked me if I'd ever heard of someone called Billy Connolly. When I said I hadn't, he stopped the car to buy me a record of Billy in performance. He'll be a big star, he said. It's the only time I've received a tip from a taxi driver. Not that I took any notice, I ignored the record. My children didn't and told me I had to listen. I did, we booked him, and from the start he was sensational. Like the blue touch paper, stand well back. Throughout the 70s and the 80s, the only guests who could add millions to the Parkinson ratings were Muhammad Ali and Billy Connolly. For one young viewer, those appearances were an inspiration, but luckily for British comedy, he didn't take up boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome please, Jack Dee.
I think that the reason why my friendship with Billy has lasted for so many years is that I've never met him. I'm actually not even on nodding terms with him. In fact, I realise I'm pushing my luck by referring to him as Billy. When I was asked to speak at this tribute, I immediately said yes, of course. And I spent the morning writing something poignant and I thought quite moving. And 3 hours later, I found out that the tribute wasn't because he just died. And it's no excuse, I know, but after all that work, I'm ashamed to say my reaction was, what, he's not dead? Oh, bloody hell. Well, as a rule, I think comedians should be banned from sincerity at occasions like this. But it is my job to say a little bit about an important period of Billy's career. And that's his early appearances on Parkinson in the 1970s. His performances on those shows mark a watershed in British comedy and a standard for British television that's yet to be equalled. I think it was Milton Berle who said that the real difference between a comedian and a comic is that a comic says funny things and a comedian says things funny. Well, tellingly, perhaps, Billy defies even those definitions as he possesses both gifts in such abundance. When you cast your mind back to those many vintage Parkinson shows, it's quite possible that you can't remember what it was that he said that made you laugh so much. And what's extraordinary about Billy Connolly is that that doesn't matter, because his magic is that he creates an atmosphere of laughter wherever he goes and whatever he says. So I'm not going to get all mushy. Suffice to say that on his first appearance on Parkinson in 1975, Billy Connolly told a joke that the next day got me suspended from school when I repeated it. When I repeated it to the headmaster's wife. For now then, let's get reacquainted with those wonderful Parkinson shows, and in a moment you'll hear that very story that made so many people laugh and blighted my education.
I feel that this young man is one of the most original and best comedians I've heard in many a day.
Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly. Mr. Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly.
My childhood, I was with a pal of mine called Gerald McGee, and we were doing a great Glasgow game called See Who Can Pee the Highest. And my father caught me. Yeah. And he slapped me in the back of the head, and my willy shot back into my trousers. My wife and I kid on, you know. I used to do this thing. Oh, instead of saying excuse me, I'd say excuse one. You know, oh, excuse one. Right. And then when we're lying in bed, I would say, one loves one. And she'd say, one reciprocates with ardour. And then my line is, one would love to give one.
I went back to school and studied, got a PhD a few years ago.
Yes. He is a doctor too, of course, isn't he?
I'm not saying anything at this point.
It is a matter of some sort of concern to you.
You should have been there.
What? Tell us what it was about.
When the letter came through the letter box. And I went in and I said, how would you feel if... should I accept this? They're going to make me a doctor in Glasgow. Bastard!
It was only 6 years, darling. Only
6 years work. They gave me one for bugger all.
You're a doctor of letters now.
I'm a doctor of letters.
Oh.
Most of them F's and B's.
Have we started yet?
I'm tuning.
I'm
trying. See, he's got a roadie naked over there. It's nearly tuned, Mr. Sting. And I don't have that. Mr. Sting, can I have a day off? Get to your work. Tantric tuning.
Stop it. To being the inspiration behind such comic creations.
Thinking about your competition, that's all.
Pee the highest? Did you never do that in Yorkshire? Why do we do it, Michael? Because there's no business like show business.
The problem for TV bosses has always been how to get the best out of Billy Connolly. In the early days, they were terrified of his stand-up act, thinking it too dangerous, too strong for the telly audience of that time, which is why for many years Billy's best work was limited to talk shows. Then someone had the bright idea of using his observational powers as a roving reporter, sending him round the world, commenting on whatever tickled his fancy. So Billy Connolly went a-roaming from Australia to the Arctic Circle to his native Scotland, demonstrating with his quizzical eye the truth that all comedy is the difference between man's ambition and his achievement.
Connolly of the North. Isn't this great? Everybody should travel with this. This is my tent. I have a saw to cut the ice to make my igloo with. Rucksack here with my shovel, my ice pick, my trusty old Lee and Enfield 303. Sleeping bag, ground sheet. Here, I have my little banjo as we zip over the horizon. You can say the wind's a little strong today. If you come here on holiday, don't bring a beach ball. That's my advice to you. Sun good, rain bad. You should shoot those fuckers on television for doing that. You'll throw it to your favourite child and the bloody thing will end up in Denmark. Boreas
he did loud and angry bray. There's no such thing as bad weather, there's only the wrong clothes. Get yourself a sexy raincoat and live a little. It's a bit choppy today. If you're going to vomit in your life, do it somewhere spectacular. The Scots came from Ireland for reasons best known to themselves, for Christ's sake. Come on, I know an even colder place. Right. It rains all the time. It's a fucking amazing. Pissing down. It's just over here. Head for the black cloud. Well, I'm on top of the Opera House. Oh, Jesus. I better just make sure I don't fall off. I'll put my thing on. Yahoo! I feel like one of those astronauts, you know. I'll never be able to look at the Opera House again without thinking I stood right up there. The way those guys must feel when they look at the moon. If this is the border with England, and that's the border with Scotland, what happens in here? Look. It's beyond belief. You should come here if you're feeling old, you know. Makes you feel very young indeed. You're just a blip on the screen compared to this stuff. I rather like it here. Cheers, I hope you have a nice journey. Bugger off and leave me.
Now, not all world travellers have Billy's sense of direction. Eric Idle is one. He wanted to be here tonight. You're about to see just how he didn't quite make it.
Hello, Billy. I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight in London because I'm here looking for Michael Palin. And in fact, we were going to meet here and just do a little bit of comedy to entertain everybody at BAFTA, the British and Film Thieves Association, to amuse them and to honour you on your 60th birthday. But sadly, there's no sign of Michael Palin. In fact, I gather this is one of the few places in the world that Michael has never visited. So, rather a waste of time, I'm afraid. So, well, you're there and I'm here, and so, sorry about the cock-up. Anyway, you've always been tremendously funny, wherever you've been, and good luck to you for the rest of your life. Well, jolly beautiful, isn't it? Sorry this piece has turned out so lame. Good night.
Now, like Billy, Eddie Izzard is a man who's made his mark across the worlds of comedy, acting and fashion. He once called Billy the Moses of comedy, who had 10 commandments, each one being, thou shalt be very, very funny. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actor, comedian and action transvestite, Eddie Izzard.
I never wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but I was told that I had to be one, by God. He told me to look to the one from the north who was from the west. I said, what, Aragorn? He said, no, but looks similar. So I listened to his early recordings. They were hard to understand as they were in Elvish. And God said, look to the bit on incontinence knickers. It is the truth. And so I did, and it was good. And so I said, does he have the one ring? And God said, what? You know, is he one with the hobbits? And God said, what? Just follow him, and he shall lead you from the world of my wife jokes to the promised land of the comic philosopher. And he will be known as Moses to the Greeks, or Big Yin to the Celts, and you shall know him as Billy. Thank you.
a well-dressed person. I wear nice things. They just look weird on me.
He wears clothes that mix and match.
See, they said it was in colour, so I put my good suit on.
That's what drew me to him, you know, the voice, the look, and the fact that he wears clothes that even a drag queen would go, oh, please.
I've got nothing against women's clothes at all. I mean, I'm not a cross-dresser or anything like that. No, I'm always in a good mood when I put my clothes on. He's a cross-dresser. These are my choice of trousers. Incidentally, these trousies, I bought them in Auckland. And I've been wondering if I didn't buy them, who do you think would have in Auckland? I mean, you wouldn't imagine some sheepshagger wandering around in these.
He does wear a lot of unusual clothes for a heterosexual, and I'm using the word heterosexual very loosely.
What's a working-class lad like you doing with a suit like that?
Do you like it? It's a sort of substitute for tattoos. I'm frightened to get a tattoo.
I don't know if anyone's mentioned the transvestite years. Wilhelmina Connolly, a song, a banjo, and a wee scone. That only lasted about a year. The world wasn't really ready for that yet.
Will is very much a part of Billy's life.
If it wasn't for your wellies, where would you be?
Wear Wellingtons all the time.
Till I was 19, you know. I didn't think they looked very trendy, but I loved the noise they made against my legs when I was dancing. I feel like a little boy trying out his new Wellington boots. Remember when you got new wellies, when you were a child, and you'd scour the streets looking for a good puddle to splash around in?
Plus the piercing, he pierced his nipples when he was 50.
Well, I'd never seen pierced nipples before. I thought they were fantastic.
A little thing to hang a towel.
He gave me the complete history of you know, oh, they're great sometimes, and sometimes they chaff or they snag or whatever. And I was just sort of thinking, okay.
Nice to know.
He loves taking his haggis out. Did you ever see him do it? I'm telling you, it's a sight to behold.
He's in good shape too. That's what everyone. That's what all the girls will say. It's a fine shape for a man of his age. She said, look.
See ya.
Billy Connolly, fashion icon with or without clothes. From his debut in Absolution, starring Richard Burton, to his most recent movie, The Last Samurai, with Tom Cruise, Billy Connolly has fulfilled his long-held ambition to be a movie actor. One of Billy's greatest performances was in Mrs. Brown. He was John Brown, the faithful but irascible Gilly, to Queen Victoria, played by Dame Judi Dench. The role not only earned Billy a Golden Globe nomination, but also convinced his manager that acting was not simply an expensive hobby.
You talk about duty!
When duty and safety are served by the same ends, then I do.
I cannot believe you're saying this. You who I've relied on all this time.
I have relied on before.
It's my duty. After all you promised me.
I've broken no promise.
You're forcing me to do the very thing you know I fear most.
For God's sake, woman, I'm trying to see you safe.
I will not hear any more about my safety. You made me a promise and now you've broken it.
When I took you out riding, come rain or shine, because I knew it was right for you. When I got the bairns off your back just to give you a bit of peace. When I saw you safe from home to home, when you didn't even know if I was there. All I ever thought about was you.
Then why send me back to them?
Because I have to. Will you not listen to me, woman?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dame Judi Dench.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's no secret, I know, that I wasn't the first casting for Mrs. Brown. I just heard about Mrs. Brown. I heard it was going to be Billy Connolly playing John Brown, and I heard it was going to be Bob Hoskins playing Queen Victoria. And then for some reason, some wonderful reason, Bob Hoskins didn't do it, and I got to do it. I was extremely nervous. I was a huge fan of Billy's, as who isn't. And so my agent set up a meeting with him. It was decided that we should meet, of all places, at the Caprice a touch unlike Billy and a touch actually unlike me too. And so both of us extremely nervous, went to the Caprice, and Billy got there. Well, when I got there, Billy wasn't there, but Billy had been there, took fright, and went out to buy some cigars. When I got there was absolutely nobody there, so I sat at the table for quite a long time, waiting, and eventually he came in and sat down, and there was a pause of a sticky kind of moment when nobody quite knew what to say, and he then decided that the first thing he should do and get off his chest, as it were, was to show me the rings in his nipples. So he pulled up his sweater, and not only I, but the whole of the Caprice saw rings in the nipples. It was a great start. I knew it would be all right from then on. Then I think he had to have them removed during the scene. I think during the filming he couldn't be seen, John Brown, stripping off with the rings in his nipples. So I think that was an end of that kind of era. But then we went and eventually started filming up at Ardverky in Scotland. And it was about 40 minutes from where we filmed. And so we had this amazingly long journey, first thing in the morning, because it was November, and it was extremely dark. And then we got there, and we had like an hour and a half's makeup, so it was extremely early calls. And we would do days filming, and then we would get back, and we would all go to the bar, and Billy would sit down in the bar with a tray in front of him with a cup of tea and a teapot, and then he would regale us with stories. And night after night after night, we all found ourselves looking at the watch thinking, can I do the next day's filming on 4.5 hours? Can I do it on 4.5 hours sleep? And then it would go on, and we'd be crying, as somebody said before, crying all the time. Then you'd look and you'd think, can I do it on 3 hours, 10 minutes? Can I do it on 2 hours? Until, you know, it became ridiculous. It became absolutely ridiculous. But we did manage to do it. And everybody has said to me, did you laugh all the time? And the truth of it is, of course, we did laugh a great amount of the time, especially at the farting horse, of course. Many other times we laughed. But also, at the same time, Billy was immensely serious and incredibly professional. Probably one of the most professional actors I've ever worked with. And never didn't know the lines, never seemed fazed, never seemed nervous. Inspirational. And not only inspirational, but he became a fantastic friend. And his family. They've been incredible friends to us ever since. I absolutely adore him. And to use his own language, one does love one. And I certainly do, Billy.
We're going to make the presentation of Billy in just a moment, but first of all, shall we have a look at some of the greatest hits, the reasons why we're here, why he's getting the award. Let's have a look at the greatest hits. That's what we call it. They're just wonderful.
I've written a musical myself. It's for drunk people. It's called The Liver Dance. You do with your hands in your pockets. I'm not just saying, Sagittarius, all right.
One of my main worries when I came here, I thought, where do you go to the bathroom?
You got to boots the chemist. Do you know what I've always wanted to see? The Swiss Army. Just to see what they do with those wee red knives, you know. They'll turn up with a wee knife up like that. Left, right. Squad, halt, knives out! Scissors! Out! Things for getting stones out of horses' hooves!
That's it.
Before we present the award, can I just say how pleased I am to be part of this tribute. I've lost count, I think, of the number of times I've interviewed Billy, or tried to interview him. It's not that he doesn't like talking, it's listening he's not too keen on, particularly listening to questions. To him, they suggest a chord sequence for an improvised flight of fancy. It's a foolish interviewer who tries to intervene. You might as well ask Miles Davis to stick to the melody. The sensible questioner sits back and listens. Now, Billy Connolly can do without an interviewer, but not without an audience. Now, apart from being a favourite guest, Billy's also been my neighbour, my friend, and once even my dancing partner through the streets of Sydney.
Yes.
It was a foxtrot, I recall. 4 in the morning, pissed, and becoming a quick step, and the local constabulary began to take an interest in who was Ginger and who was Fred. I've been lucky enough to meet most of the... I've been lucky to meet most of the great comedians of my time, from Jack Benny to Les Dawson, Robin Williams to Tommy Cooper, but none funnier than the man we celebrate tonight. He's one-off, unique, irreplaceable. His greatest talent, I think, and the one we should all thank him for, is not for making us laugh at Billy Connolly, but enabling us to laugh at ourselves. Here's the last word on our guest of honour.
Billy Connolly is a genius.
Perceptive. He's just the funniest man I've ever seen. He's the funniest man I've ever met.
He's large. He's having a tribute done for him? Billy Connolly? Fantastic.
Good nipples.
Rude. Rather vulgar.
Billy, I love you, dude, and this whole BAFTA, which is, I didn't know what that was at first. I thought it was a disorder. But, you know, that you were receiving a BAFTA award, and I thought, poor man, I didn't know you were afflicted with BAFTA. And I was thinking, ready to write a check. Help Billy. Billy's got BAFTA.
Somebody don't see there's a free lunch, no? You're gonna put in the show that I didn't see the movies? Because I want him to think that I've seen everything that he did, but I haven't seen Mrs. Brown.
I think above all, Billy Connolly was a flasher. He's a man who just cannot keep his little willy to himself, and I really wish he would.
If you're listening, Billy, I'm shocking old, dirty old man.
Billy Connolly is a great friend, a wonderful father, a model citizen, and he's hung like a bear.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Connolly. Hey.
I've been laughing so much at home. I love you. Just when you take it. Thank you very, very much indeed. It's been an excruciatingly painful evening. I've been squirming around in my seat. I can't imagine a more hellish ordeal for anybody, and I wouldn't wish it on the worst of you. It's, the worst part was laughing at my stuff. I haven't seen a lot of it in years, and I thought it was really quite funny. And it's good because things have been kind of stressful lately, you know. Trying to get rid of the timeshare in Baghdad and all that. So, but there are so many... just a wee ruined kitchen, you know. I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. There's so many... I was going to thank... I don't know who to thank. I know everybody except Geldof. That's who... Thank you, that was lovely. You made it absolutely bearable, all of you. And it's the pleasure for me is seeing you sitting there. As I grow extremely old and weary, it dawns on me more and more that all there is... The Beatles were right. You know, all you need is love, but that's pretty much all there is. And to be surrounded with people who like you. Being praised, I find a bit of a pain in the arse, but to be surrounded by people who like you is a wonderful thing. And to be told One Loves One by Judi Dench is it takes you to paradise. It's beyond belief. One does reciprocate with ardour. No, I'm not trying to take away from Pamela, who's my one true love of my life, and who has saved my life on many, many occasions when I... If you only knew! If you knew the things I've done, the things I've done with my Willie to try and get a laugh. Jesus, she's a sainted woman! A sainted woman! She walks on water this way. Not only is she my wife, She's my lifestyle and fashion guru. Whatever that might be. And I do love you, Pamsy, and thanks. It's been... Oh, and Martin O'Neill's here. He manages Celtic, a sainted man. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. I've never been happier. And I've got one of these. I've been nominated, and the bastards didn't give me it. They gave it to Bob Carlyle and Ewan McGregor. I deserved it. I should have got a SAG award instead of Robin Williams. They fucking give it to him. I was deserving. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all that praise has kind of gone to my head. I once won a pair of swimming trunks for winning the five-a-side football. But they were dark blue and they turned brown. It's the only pair of brown swimming trunks I've ever seen. There was a big pair of knickers. I've had a hard life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've no idea how it feels to sit here watching Chrissie Hynde looking at you. It fairly makes the hair on my arms stand on end. Incidentally, did you know you had the sexiest knees on earth? I saw them at Geldof's wedding. Fantastic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, fuck off home and leave me alone. Good night.
So thank you for joining me this very special evening to give this very special award to this very special man. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Bye-bye.
More Billy Connolly next, an esteemed theatrical company at a performer's retirement home. Divas, which one? In our late film Quartet.